let us begin in Old Spider Spin's webs of memory. Section 1, A Little City's Tiny War. Everyone has regrets. If it only could be like this. If only I had done that. Oh, what happened? Thank you, Pick Me Want to Eat a Spider, for the follow. Welcome. Nobody makes it through life without having such thoughts at least once. Given that failure is an inevitable part of life, there is no sense in dwelling on it. But of course, well, we do, don't we? Yours truly is no exception. So, for today, I would like to spin you a story of regret. It's all well and good to have regrets. But if you try to rid yourself of them, there will be hell to pay like you cannot even begin to fathom. That's the sort of comical fable I have in mind for us today. Ah, this does bring back memories, doesn't it, Master? That's right. It is I, James Moriarty, everyone's favorite old man from an alternate dimension. Ah? You want me to take this more seriously? All right, if you insist. My name is James Moriarty. I am also known variously as the Napoleon of Crime and the Old Spider. And now, I am your servant. So, now that that's out of the way, you are officially invited on a fun little pleasure trip. Don't worry, the risk of losing your life is almost completely negligible. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the stroll down Regret Lane. Butterfly. Dead butterfly. James Moriarty. Sieg. Diarmuid. Alexander. Yanqing, the Prince of Lanlin. Okada Izo. Vlad III. Did I just get forcefully ray-shifted again? Nice looking bar. What is this place? Good morning! Ah, not so loud. Oh, I do beg your pardon. Hello and good day. I am glad to see you in good health, Gouda. I can see, though, that you are wondering where you are. I'll come right to the point, then. We are lost in this ray shift, you and I. We have no way to ask for help, nor any means to receive it. That is to say, we are now on a stealth mission, and all weapons and equipment must be procured on site. Where have I heard this one before? Indeed. We now face the same harsh circumstances as an M16 covert operative, or MI6 covert operative. I heard of wholesale delegation, but this is ridiculous. But worry not, Master. I know this world, and I recognize the time period in which we find ourselves. In fact, I believe that is why I am the one who is here with you. So we're here because of you, Professor? Well, I suppose you could say that. Alright, now allow me to explain. We are currently in a mansion found in a certain European city. It is the late 19th century, though without a newspaper I cannot be certain of the date. I'll cover stories that you and I are bartenders employed at this mansion. Are you with me so far?
Well, that would explain these outfits.
And may I say, they suit us rather well. Now then, here is the problem we face. On second thought, perhaps it would be better if you just see for yourself. Let's leave the bar for the moment and take a stroll around the mansion itself. Oh, and as a rule of thumb, I would strongly advise you to keep your voice low and not speak to anyone. At least for now.
I mean, he's right. That outfit really suits him. Whoa, this place is fancy.
Yes, this mansion's owner is something of a local legend. He effectively runs this entire city. And just look around. He must be the center of any number of deplorably immoral and, dare I say, criminal acts to afford such luxury.
Hey now, Mr. Moriarty. I can't speak for my ancestors, but I certainly have no recollection of being involved in anything of the sort. Oh, it's Jeeg. Okay. This is the mansion's owner. Jeeg?
This is not the Jeeg you know from Caldia. Make sure you speak to him as though he were a complete stranger. Gouda, this is our employer, Jeeg.
It is nice to meet you, Gouda. I am afraid you won't have much time to get your feet wet. Things are about to get very busy around here. Make sure that you treat all of our guests with the respect they deserve. Whatever you do, do not speak to them as though you are on friendly or familiar terms. As long as you remember that, you are free to handle your responsibilities however you see fit. Oh, and Mr. Moriarty, I am counting on you to take care of that matter we discussed earlier.
And now you have met our employer.
So, who are these guests he mentioned?
Good question. We will be paying them a visit shortly as well. At peril of sounding like a broken record, do try to contain your surprise.
Well, well. I'm surprised to see a thug like you here, seeing how the only thing you're good for is guzzling cheap booze. It breaks my heart to see Lord Jeeg disgrace himself in his poor choice of company. Huh? I'm sorry, did you say something, old-timer? I could barely hear you over the sound of your bones creaking. If there's anyone who doesn't deserve to be at this mansion, it's the worthless fossil who can't even set foot on a damn boat. Whoa, whoa, easy there, fellas. Jeeg invited us all here, remember? So who cares about disgrace or worth? The important thing is we all have the same qualifications to be here. Besides, none of us is ready now. Hell, they haven't even gotten here yet, right? And here comes the hyena. Oh, hyena, huh? I like that. They're the ones who always come out on top, seeing how they thrive off of dead meat. Well, no matter. We still have time until the auction. If I were you, Yanqing and Izo, I'd think long and hard about what I want to do with my life between now and the auction starting. Right. Thanks for the tip. Funny, I was about to tell you the same thing. But then again, I guess there isn't much point in you thinking about what you want to do with your life. At your age, all you've got left to do is pick out a burial plot. I see, so we're hosting 3 elementary school children. So Diarmid, Yanqing, and Izo are all here too. Wait a minute, is this what I think it is?
Very astute, Gouda. Yes, I believe it's exactly as you suspect. Perhaps you remember what happened during a similar incident not so long ago? A mystery of sorts at the Kogetsukan, yes? Back then, I believe your brain substituted figures you were familiar with for those whom you had never met, so as to avoid overwhelming it with new visual information. This time, the new figures may share their names with the ones you know, but in all other respects, it is the same phenomenon at work.
So, what do they look like to you then, Moriarty?
Ah, yes. Well, unfortunately, they appear to be the same servants to me as well. But there are some extenuating circumstances that give me a bit more insight into their true identities. Simply put, these 3, gentlemen are gang leaders. Diarmid may not look the part, but I trust you can sort of see it with the other 2, no?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
As for Diarmid, I imagine he was chosen because his looks and attributes are similar to those of the man he's standing in for. After all, his dapper looks may have apparently made him quite the talk of the town as of late.
And they don't get along very well, do they?
Indeed not. Diarmid's group has been based in this area for many years now, a gang with a long tradition. They have their hands in every single one of this city's dark dealings and secrets, but they are also considered a pillar of the community. Then, about 20 years ago, Yanqing's gang came along and paid.
Right.
And put paid to that peaceful state of affairs. As soon as they came into the city, they were very aggressive about taking on whatever dirty work they could find, including the types of jobs that Diarmid's gang had long refused even to touch. Naturally, this led to turf war after turf war, with both sides gunning for each other around the city. That state of affairs continued for several years until about 3 years ago, when both sides decided to put an end to these killings and came to terms. That was when Izo's gang of longshore workers came along and complicated things further. Now, all 3 of these gangs are in a stalemate, ever at odds with one another. Oh? You seem puzzled by something. Well, I suppose I can't blame you.
How come the weakest gang didn't get wiped out?
Indeed, eliminating the weakest opposition is a classic for a reason. But in this case, each of the 3 gangs has something unique keeping them safe, even as it holds them back. Diarmid's group has numbers on their side, and they're also the ones most entrenched in the city. But in this case, that strength is also a weakness. As long as he remains here, Diarmid needs to keep up his image of a chivalrous man about town. That makes his group old and staid, unable to make the bold moves necessary to remove the others. Whereas Yanqing's group is the newcomer that arrived in the city long after the status quo had been established. The people of this city are highly unlikely to ever trust them. But in turn, that gives them the freedom to do whatever they please. As this city was never theirs, they feel no obligation to restrain themselves on its behalf. And finally, we have Izo's gang. They may have the fewest numbers, but they also control the docks. And since the city's industry depends on those docks, the other gangs can't do much to hurt them. Do you follow me so far?
I think so? This is getting a lot more complicated.
Good, because it only gets more complicated from here. Now then, I think we had best adjourn the lecture now in favor of doing our job for a bit.
And what is our job exactly?
On another note, we've got wyverns!
Moriarty?
Please don't look at me like that. In a strange twist of fate, it seems there are wyverns running, or rather flying around at this time period. The little devils apparently like to sneak into this mansion, so Jeeg has entrusted us with keeping them out.
That is really strange, you know.
Well, I do have an inkling or two as to how this state of affairs came to be, but for the moment, I think we had best focus on the wyverns at hand. All right, Master. I am counting on you for backup.
How were those wyverns?
Indeed, it seems matters are even stranger than I expected. Regardless, it does seem like the part about them invading this mansion was true. And it would certainly make things worse to have demonic beasts causing trouble now, while the gangs are already at odds with one another. Yada yada. All this, and it still hasn't even begun.
What hasn't begun?
The answer to that? We'll have to wait. Why, you ask? Hold on, let me just put on my disguise here.
Why, because the time is not yet right.
End of story.
Was the disguise really necessary for that?
I'd say it was well worth it just to see you roll your eyes like that, Master. Incidentally, that line took third place in the aforementioned servant census, which once again was put together by Da Vinci herself. Boy, that really grinds my gears.
Moriarty does not like Holmes. Section 2, Triangle Gang.
Oi, give me more booze.
Hey, me too. Come on, hurry it up. Coming, be right with you.
Cheh, I see you lot are just as disgraceful as ever. What'd you say?
Keep your goddamn mouth shut if you know it's good for you, Gramps.
All right, gentlemen, that is quite enough of that. Let me remind you that it is my employer you would be inconveniencing if you fought here. And that would certainly not be to any of your advantages. At least in my humble opinion. Fine, whatever.
You got a lot of nerve talking to me like that, bartender.
That just goes to show how nobody respects you lot. It's wonderful to see you all enjoying yourselves. But I must warn you, even I cannot guarantee a happy result should you engage in fisticuffs here. Ooh, alcohol really is dangerous stuff, isn't it? Perhaps we should simply close the bar down. Or at least ban them from the premises.
Good thinking. In fact, I was just about to ask you to do that myself. Even guys like that should be able to control themselves as long as they stay away from alcohol. So from now on, I'd like you to limit the bar to myself, the different organizations' leaders, and the men who will be showing up soon.
You've got it, boss.
Understood. Good. I will leave this in your capable hands then. So, this is really happening tomorrow.
I take it you are reluctant to part with it.
Of course I am. That relic has been passed down within my family in secret for 1,000 years. I never dreamed that I would ever let it go. But now that it's come out that it's in my possession, it could put the whole city at risk. So before word spreads too far, I plan to sell it to the highest bidder and invest the money in helping the city prosper.
That is quite magnanimous of you, sir. I promise you, my cohort and I will do everything in our power to help you see this through.
Thank you. I feel better knowing you're here. All right. See you later.
Oh, that was quite the little ordeal. Is something wrong, Master?
What was that about a relic?
All will be clear tomorrow, you'll see. Now, what say we pick up our lecture from where we left off yesterday, I trust you recall the three organizations' different characteristics now?
All three are in very different positions.
Quite right. Now then, let us assume each group pursues the best course of action for them to seize control of the city. Group A, Diarmid, would ideally like to team up with Isu to take out Yanqing. Once that is done, he could take his time folding Izo's small organization into his own. But that would not be to Izo's interests. While he may be able to get rid of Yanqing that way, it would leave him helpless against Diarmid. And that, of course, would all but assure his defeat. As such, Izo can never team up with Diarmid. So then, you might think Izo could just team up with Yanqing to take out Diarmid, but there too, you would be wrong. After all, they too are now an inextricable part of the city. Then, what if Group A Diarmid teams up with Group B Yanqing to take out Group C Izo first? Yes, such a team-up would let them take out Izo easily, but also lead to its own rather messy set of problems. Without enough people working the docks, the city's economy would all but grind to a halt. More than that, neither group truly needs to team up with the other to take Izo down. Both A and B would merely hope that their partner ends up bearing the lion's share of the losses in the battle to destroy C. In summary, there is no viable path forward for any group. Forming an alliance, going on the attack, neither of these are really feasible options. It is quite the stalemate. And now, something new is being added into the mix. I trust I don't need to explain what a Holy Grail War is to you, do I, Master?
It's almost time. Tomorrow there's going to be a battle for control of this case. That's just the way it is. This is to help build a better future. I have to accept that there are going to be sacrifices. It won't be easy. But at this point, I see no alternative. We just aren't strong enough to keep this relic safe on our own anymore. Just keep cool for now. It all comes down to what happens next. We're the ones who will be taking control of the city. We're not going to let those damned outsiders have so much as a scrap. As soon as the ritual is over, we're going to kill every last one of them. I can hear that stuck-up old man yapping away. So much for that chivalrous routine he likes to put on. If he's gonna shake his cane at us for being outsiders after we've been here for 20 years, we'll just spend 200 years working our way in until we're a goddamn institution. The city wants us to take it over. It's practically begging for us to liven the place up. It all comes down to tomorrow. If the others think they can mess with us, they've got another thing coming. We live by the sea, and we'll die by the sea. Long as we've got this town by its lifeline, it doesn't matter how few of us there are. We're the strongest of them all. And once this battle is over, we'll be the biggest too. If the losers refuse to get down on their knees and beg for mercy, we'll just have to kill every last one of them. I'm sorry, did you say a Holy Grail War? See ya, have a good day at work.
Yes, but this will be something of a miniature version, a kind known as a subspecies Holy Grail War. 3 mages are scheduled to arrive here tomorrow. They will begin by making bids for the relic in question. It holds considerable power, you see. So, of course, the mages are taking part in this Holy Grail War. They all wish to secure it for themselves. But the real problem is that each of the 3 warring gangs has backed a different mage. In other words, whoever wins this subspecies Holy Grail War will also win control of the city. Yikes. Yikes indeed. Suffice to say, our role here is to keep them all in check so as to minimize damage to the city. Or so I gather.
Okay, but how do we go about doing that?
Good question. We can't count on backup from Caldia, and you and I have limited options at best. But I can tell from the expression on your face that we must find a way no matter what.
Uh-huh.
Very well, but there is little we can do for now. At this point, it all comes down to tomorrow. So, tomorrow, let's begin by seeing what course of action each group chooses to pursue.
Triangle Gang, everybody in the Triangle Gang. Morning.
Good morning, Master. Tell me, have you ever considered running a bar or a cafe once you have retired from mastering? I bet you would enjoy it quite a bit if you partnered up with the young Ms. Kitty Alite.
Running a bar with MASH, huh?
Welcome. I'll be your bartender for tonight. My name is Mash Kitty Alite. And as a bartender, I thought I should suit up for the occasion. I can't drink any alcohol myself, but I'll do my best with the cocktail shaking. Hey, yeah, hop! So cute!
Alright, I think that's enough daydreaming now. It would seem the mages have arrived. I'm surprised to see all 3 of them here so early. Perhaps they just couldn't wait any longer.
Me and MASH.
Are you still wool gathering? Come on, snap out of it!
Good day, everyone. Welcome to my home.
Nice location. I'd love to requisition this place, land and all. I see you like to waste your time dwelling on trivialities, even when you're about to do battle.
Go ahead and think about whatever you would like. In the end, such thoughts are mere delusions. In a few days, you can waste your time grieving for the treasure you failed to claim. And here I thought we would be seeing casters show up to represent these mages. I suppose we can take this as a sign that each of these mages is really quite battle-hungry.
Allow me to welcome you all once again. I am honored to have you here in my home. But then, I guess there is no need to stand on ceremony, is there? You're all here for something I own. I'm quite aware of that. You also know that multiple sources are 90% sure that it's the genuine article. I expect, then, that you are all here to verify that last 10% in person.
Yeah, pretty much. None of us would be amused if we came all this way only to have it turn out to be counterfeit. Agreed. I don't wish to sound demanding, but I would indeed like to see it for myself. Naturally, I wouldn't dream of trying to kill the others at this time. And neither would you, Count Vlad, am I correct?
Of course not. No true mage would be so foolish as to throw away their honor here. That would be an act of beasts, not men. I would never do anything to disturb this peace while the item's owner shows us such hospitality.
Thank you. All right then, you may go and see it for yourself. This is the relic that has been passed down in my family for generations. The linden leaf that stuck to the back of a heroic dragon slayer. Makes sense he would have that.
It's real! This is definitely the genuine article! I may not have been a mage for very long, but I can still recognize the real thing when I see it. Indeed. I can tell it is indeed what our host claims with merely a single look at its magnificence. Now I have no doubt that with this in hand, I would win this subspecies Holy Grail war.
I see. So this relic can serve as a catalyst with which to summon a powerful servant. Given that most such artifacts, such as the snakeskin to summon the King of Heroes, and the Gordian knot to summon the King of Conquerors, have fallen into the Association's hands, these could well be the last of its kind in the entire world. For a relic like this, I would gladly take part in a Holy Grail war.
I'm glad to see you all understand. I must ask you all to pay richly for a chance to own this relic. But I think you will agree that it is well worth it. As I'm sure you all know, this leaf is a powerful catalyst that can be used to summon the great hero Siegfried. Using this catalyst, your chances of summoning anyone else are negligible. It cannot be divided among you, however, as its effectiveness as a catalyst would be greatly compromised by damage such division would cause. So only one of you may claim this relic. But no one need be hurt to do so. That is certainly not what I want. That is why I will be holding this auction. I have faith that you're all able and willing to pay what this relic is worth.
Very nice. Do you understand, Master? All any of them care about is getting a jump on the others. Naturally, they're not afraid to get their hands dirty if it means gaining an edge. Depending on how things go, there may not even be an auction at all.
Isn't that dangerous?
Absolutely. Now then, how should we go about this?
Only one of us, huh?
I'd love to resolve this peacefully if we could. As would I, but that is easier said than done. Isn't that right, Count Vlad?
Izo,
What?
I need your entire fortune. That relic there is worth every penny of it.
Are you nuts? You want my entire fortune? Just to buy a damn leaf?
Silence! I don't mind letting you pretend to run the show in public. But if I fail to acquire that leaf, you will spend the rest of your life paying me back.
Looks like I've got a real shot at this. So in the end, it all comes down to money. Well, these are small-timers. They'll have to scrounge up every penny they can just to have a chance.
Normally, a catalyst of this quality would be forever beyond our reach. Only those ranked Pride or higher would even get to see it. But since the only other mages here have loose ties to the association, that opens up a wealth of options.
I will be holding the auction tomorrow. The only ones who will be allowed to bid are Alexander, Prince of Landling, and Vlad III. No exceptions. Even if any other mages should catch wind of this auction and enter a bid higher than one of yours, we have no plans to alter the arrangement.
Perfect.
Alright, that is all for today. Please feel free to relax and enjoy yourselves until tomorrow. Of course, you are also free to take this time to put together as much money as you can if you wish. Mr. Moriarty and Mr. Gouda, was it? Tomorrow is when your work will really begin. I'm counting on you.
Understood.
Great. Okay, see you later.
Well, we certainly have our work cut out for us, but for now, why don't we focus on the task at hand?
Komodo Dragon Control?
It's supposed to be Wyvern Control, but never mind that now.